Hello, everybody. Good evening. I'd like to bring the April 18th, 2018 meeting of the Interboro Board of School Directors to order. And Ms. Caldwell, could we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Harris?
Present.
Mrs. Verkio will be late. Ms. Joseph? Here. Ms. Bernauer? Mr. McGarvey?
Present.
Mr. Evans?
Present.
Mr. Chavone?
Here.
Mr. Fox?
Here. Mr. Evans, could we have the invocation?
Heavenly Father, please hear our prayer. Bless all schools, colleges, and especially the Interboro School District, and grant to this board in their deliberations this evening the spirit of wisdom, truth, and knowledge. What is undertaken always be done in charity and in peace, and what we do might be for the benefit of others. All this we ask in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. We will have our reports from our student representatives, Aurora and Samantha. I know I turned
For the Kindergarten Academy, even with inconsistencies in the schedule due to snow days and 2-hour delays, the children have been working hard in classrooms, and they've demonstrated flexibility day in and day out.
For Glenarden School District, the 5th grade have and use and analyze poetry to review figurative language. In Miss Garland's classes, who listened to Wonder as their last read aloud, were really sorry to have the story end. In social studies, the students are learning about colonial life. They just finished the New England region and are getting ready to learn about the geography, economics, and cultural differences in the middle and southern colonies before their field trip to the colonial plantation in early May. April is Autism Awareness Month, so Ms. Lonergan is using this time to discuss how all of us are unique. The students have enjoyed reading various books and watching videos. So far, their favorite has been watching Julia on Sesame Street. Students have all chosen a task they are really good at completing, and later in the month will teach the rest of us how to complete the skill. They are focusing on the able and not the label. In Ms. Lonergan's classes, the first graders have been busy learning about creating various landforms using clay. The second graders in the class have kicked off their Native American unit and enjoyed a visit from Miss Rose. All first through third graders in our class have enjoyed packing snacks for the school for the students who are taking the PSSAs.
For Norwood School, on April 5th, 8 first graders and 8 second graders started the spring season of Season 1 Crazy 8's Math Club. With Mrs. McNamara and Miss Kovach's guidance, the 16 club members will get to experience various math concepts through hands-on experiments. They worked on glow-in-the-dark geometry during week 1, and next week is called Let's Get Loud. On Friday, April 13th, students in grades 1 through 5 participated in the annual Jump-a-thon for the American Heart Association. Students were requested to get donations for this worthy cause. And please come out and support the Norwood Home and School Association on Saturday, April 21st, for the annual bingo night. It will be held in the cafeteria of Interboro High School, starting with food served at 5 p.m. and bingo starting at 6 p.m. Please bring the whole family and enjoy this wonderful community event.
For Prospect Park School, the month began with a Dr. Seuss celebration. Home and School hosted their yearly bingo night to a packed house. Third grade had an opportunity to experience a traveling planetarium when it visited our school. 8th grade students attended the NOTE presentation, a powerfully moving assembly about dangers of drugs.
For Tinicum School, Tinicum held its Dr. Seuss celebration, Read Across America Day, on Friday, March 2nd, with a books and blankets afternoon for all grades. Older students were paired with younger students and assigned an area in the school to share a story together. Everyone enjoyed this event. March 10th was the Breakfast with the Easter Bunny, 8th grade fundraiser. Along with the breakfast, there was an Easter egg hunt and a vendor fair / spring bazaar. The fundraiser was a huge success. On March 22nd, everyone rocked their socks for World Down Syndrome Awareness Day. Everyone brought mismatched socks to wear on Thursday, and they ended up selling out of the socks.
For Interboro High School, March 6th was their Harrisburg trip. They performed at Harrisburg for the Pennsylvania Music Educators Association Music in Our Schools Month. The group toured the building and performed for senators, representatives, and visitors to the building. On March 22nd and 24th, Cinderella, our production, where 1,700 community members came to the high school's production. Over 100 students participated in our production, from the crews to the cast to the pit. Thank you to the directors, students, and community members for making the show such a success. This concludes our report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ariana and Samantha. We appreciate that. Mr. Recchio is present. That's for the record. Number 3, Record Commission, Ms. Ryle.
Yes, thank you. At this time, I would like to invite Mr. Pat Quinn and give him an opportunity to speak. We're here this evening, Mr. Quinn is here this evening to recognize Miss Stephanie Farmer, who he nominated, and she was awarded the Pennsylvania's 2018 National Outstanding Assistant Principal of the Year. So Mr. Quinn, if you would like to say a few words, and I'll follow up.
Stop, you can stand up this point. Should we stand here or in the corner?
Wherever you, why don't you come over here so that the camera can see you?
It's my chance to embarrass Stephanie. First thing, I just wanted to read one note out here from the Pennsylvania Principals Association. Dear Stephanie, on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Pennsylvania Principals Association, we have the pleasure of officially informing you that you have been selected as Pennsylvania's 2018 National Outstanding Assistant Principal. Just to clarify that, because I've read that a few times myself, Stephanie, now what we're talking about here is not Ridley, not Springfield, not Radnor, but Interboro. Representative from Interboro, not Delaware County, but the state of Pennsylvania. I have to repeat that again. Stephanie is representing the state of Pennsylvania in another contest against the other 49 states. So, yeah, that's pretty darn good. Second thing is, which is not well known here, was last year, Stephanie was awarded the 7th District Congressional Distinguished Veterans 2017 Commendation. One of 10 veterans from Delaware County who got that award from our congressman. And another person, Jim Howell, who's been in front of the board multiple times, veterans, also won. So again, Jim lives in Norwood. So again, 2 people from Interboro footprint, something else to put Interboro on the map for. Not Radnor, Interboro. So, with that said, I just have a couple quick stories. One time I was giving a presentation and the fire alarm went off at the school board.
We did set that
Probably that was giving me a hint about running out of time. But anyway, 2 things. We run a number of programs for the school district, which thank you to the school board, our school district, our administrators, allow us to do these types of things. Stephanie has been a hands-on, involved, 100% gung-ho person pulling a lot of this together. Just one story, we do the flagging every year, very successful. Veterans come out, we help the veterans put flags on the gravestones at Holy Cross Cemetery. One of many cemeteries, but anywhere between 3,000 and 5,000 flags a year that we couldn't do without the school district and the kids. And Stephanie's been a big part of that. About 5 years ago, Stephanie showed up at the flagging cemetery with an Interboro bus loaded with Pinnacle kids. I'll be honest with you, I had veterans with tears in their eyes after that. I mean, that's when I knew this woman was special. Second story, I run a local basketball league, I'll get into more of that later, and show up at Pinnacle on a Wednesday night about 6:30 for the game, Stephanie's there. Show up Thursday night about 7 for a game, Stephanie's there. Show up Friday night for a game, Stephanie's there. Saturday morning show up for a game, Stephanie's there. I swear Stephanie lives at Pinnacle Green. Can't understand. Now, I gotta be honest, I'm a Prospect resident, and the last 5 years, 4 or 5 years, we've awarded our Veterans Trophy and our Reading Trophy to Pinnacle. By the way, it's to Stephanie and all of Pinnacle. I mean, your principal and your teachers, the staff there, Pinnacle really goes all out for this. But Stephanie is one of the people behind the scenes pushing and prodding and doing whatever she can. And the last thing I'd add is for Stephanie, a number of times the veterans come to me about essay contests and I go after the school district, and I know everybody's exceptionally busy. Stephanie always manages to get kids to write essays to represent Tennyson and our school district. So, Stephanie, thank you.
Thank you, Pat. And Stephanie, on behalf of the administration and the board, I would like to present you with these flowers and congratulate you on this amazing honor and for really, truly representing Interboro. If you don't know this, but Stephanie is an Interboro grad. She grew up in Tinicum, and she has really done some wonderful things down at the school, and we appreciate all her hard work and time that she puts in to the project. So thank you, Stephanie. Congratulations. All right.
Thank you, Ms. Ryan, and thank you, Ms. Palmer. All right, moving on, let's move on to public comments.
This way I have Mr. Pat Quinn.
Like a bad penny, I keep trying to. Good evening, everybody. Again, my name is Pat Quinn, for those of you here before. I live in Prospect Park, and I run a number of organizations for the communities, one of which is the Delco Boys Basketball League. So with 14 communities in southeast Delco, with kids from the age of 7 to 18, and the goal is to keep our kids playing sports. And you know, it's extremely important that our kids are kept active in a safe harbor, and we do that thanks to 6 school districts. But I wanted to come out tonight because I've been around. I deal with 6 school districts. I deal with 4 or 5 private gyms, and Interboro always leads the chase to keep our kids out of trouble and in a safe harbor. I mean, I have a number of school districts who I think don't believe in educating the kids other than the 3 R's. I mean, things like sports, they don't let the kids use the gyms. I have one school district where they turn the lights out at 8:30. If the game's going on, the gym just turns dark. I mean, it's just unbelievable. But in the case of Interboro, facilities, your administrative group, everybody was out of their way to welcome the kids. And it isn't just the boys, I might add, while I'm here. There's a girls' league, Chester Pike Girls' League, that has 800 kids from the same 14 communities. Those kids play basketball in a safe harbor. You guys also open up the Norwood School for a Christmas tournament for the boys that keeps the kids out of trouble again. So, again, what you do here in Interboro isn't just teaching the 3 R's, it's also keeping our kids in a safe place, giving them activities to do. There's nothing better than coming out on Friday night and knowing the kids are in one of 5 gyms here, safe, as opposed to kids in some other communities that are just hanging out in the corner, getting in trouble. So I thank all of you, and I just ask you to continue that ability to let us use your service. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. Any other, Mr. Ryan?
This is Phyllis Floyd.
Phyllis Floyd, 604 14th Avenue, Prospect Park. I have a couple questions and statements. Mr. Phelps made the statement that the district is in the black for the upcoming 18-19 budget operations. Unfortunately, that statement is somewhat deceiving because the fund balance is at an all-time low of approximately $2.5 million. The auditor strongly advised the district to get the fund balance up due to the fact this is or will affect our credit. This will affect any possibility of getting bonds or loans if an emergency comes up. The remainder of the fund balance is already committed and can't be spent on anything else. The recommended amount to be in the fund balance is 8%, at least 8% of the budget. So please explain how the comment the district is in the black when the fund balance is in the red. I would like to also know if the money from the airport that is allocated to be spent on Tinicum School, is this money included in the fund balance or in a separate account? And I'll keep going. I guess I'll answer after I'm done. Mr. Phelps also complimented Mr. Chavone for all the time he has spent doing a fantastic job working with Marty on the budget. I thought there is a finance committee that should be working together on the budget. Hasn't the entire committee been involved in these meetings with Marty? If so, shouldn't the whole committee be complimented for their hard work?
Yes,
Yes?
they should be commended as well.
All right, so they've been going to these meetings with Marty as
Mrs.
well?
Ford, this is not a question and answer session. This is public comment. Make your comments. You have 5
Excuse me,
minutes.
Mrs. Kelly posted that
You got 5
it
minutes.
is, come to the meeting and ask questions, and you will get answers. So was she wrong, or are you now
Not
changing
at-
it because
not
I'm
at all.
asking the question?
You ask your questions.
She's not
Mrs.
wrong,
Ford, I'm not
but
going to
yet
sit
you're not
here
going to
and
answer my
argue
question.
with you back and forth. State your comments. If there's questions involved, they will be answered and you can pick them up tomorrow. I'm not going to sit here and go back and forth with you all night.
All right, Mrs. Kelly, you see why I responded the way I did? This isn't the forum to ask questions, because you won't get an answer, as you just saw. Transparency has been questioned. I would have to ask, is the leadership being transparent, not just with community members, but especially with the entire board? And does the entire board feel that they're getting all the information or being included in all of the discussions and decision-making, other than coming to a meeting and having to vote? No response? Okay, and one last thing. Just like you did tonight, but even worse, your attitude, your response to board members was so unprofessional and embarrassing. It was pathetic. And to tell board members that they can't make a meeting, don't come. That was really a good one.
You took that out of context.
No, I didn't. That's exactly, you can listen to the tape. It's exactly what you
Mrs.
said.
Ford,
Isn't that what was said?
the thing about that...
Isn't that what was said?
Is that it, Mrs. Ford?
Yes.
Thank you. Any others, Mr. Evans?
No, sir.
All right, moving on. Number 5, Mr. Evans.
Motion 5.1, that the following minutes of the regular meeting of the Interboro Board of School Directors held on March 22nd, 2018 be approved.
Second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Ms. Goham, Solicitor's Report.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Phelps. This month, our office has been working with the school district in reviewing school board policies, in reviewing contracts, consulting on special education issues, as well as day-to-day student issues.
Thank you, Ms. Goham. Moving on to number 7, Mr. Evans.
Motion 7.1, that the attached treasurer's report for the month ending March 31st, 2018 be approved.
Second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next motion, Mr. Evans.
Motion 7.2, that fund disbursements in the amount of $6,335,558.73 be approved.
Second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next motion, Mr. Evans.
Motion 7.3, that the budget transfers for the 2017-2018 school year be approved.
Second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Number 8, correspondence, Mr. Evans.
We do have one piece of correspondence from Margaret Evans, 111 Leon Avenue, Norwood, PA, dated April 18, 2018, to the Board of School Directors, Interboro School District. Hello, I am writing this note to share a caught doing good story. Ms. Hannah Knaus orchestrated a thoroughly enjoyable and memory-making trip for her choral and theater department students this past weekend. She exhaustively researched and planned an overnight trip to New York City to provide an adventure that her students will likely remember for a very long time. Some of the highlights of Hannah's attention to details on this trip included planning the most economical way to minimize the cost to her students while maximizing their experience, scheduling a pre-trip meeting to provide trip-related information, which included the basic itinerary and guidelines for students, clear and firm communications about her expectations and the trip's boundaries, including the consequences for breaking the rules, a Remind app for guaranteed group communications, detailed daily itineraries including 25 things to do in Midtown Manhattan, reservations for healthy group luncheons, a pre-show Broadway workshop and a post-show talk back with the cast, and a unique theater and around Broadway performance of Once on This Island. In addition to the educational features of this trip, a cultural opportunity was offered to the choir and theater students. One of the underlying themes of Once on This Island is storytelling. This is a timely coincidence because the students who attended will surely share the positive stories of the trip provided by their talented teacher. Thank you, Ms. Canals, for doing good and once again making Interboro proud. One last note in the Caught Doing Good category goes to music student Roger Hummel. Roger was the trip's photographer and he produced a beautiful recap video that was shown on K-Scope earlier this week. Roger's talent is extraordinary and yet another example of the good things going on in Interboro High School. Thank you, Roger, for sharing your time and talent. Sincerely, Margie Evans.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Moving on to number 9, committee reports. 9.1, Mr. Chairman, Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Phelps. The Finance Committee met on Monday, April 9, 2018. The first item discussed was the 2018-2019 preliminary budget. Mr. High School reviewed the preliminary budget and highlighted the differences compared to the preliminary budget from the March meeting. I'm going to highlight some of that information below. Overall, our budget saw an increase in its revenue by $253,190. This increase is due to various assessment changes received by the county, increase in local grants, and federal Title II money being put back into the federal budget. Our expenditures decreased by $694,734. The two major factors that allowed us to decrease expenditures were retirements, which showed a net decrease of $308,445. These retirements are on the agenda tonight for board approval. And the benefit line item for employees decreased by $570,178 because of the reduction in medical and prescription benefit rates based on the first look estimates. We originally budgeted a 10% increase for medical benefits, but DIVIC is showing a 5.6% increase. We also reduced the special education line item by $60,000 because a student left the district and we no longer have to pay tuition for that student. We also reduced the transportation line item by $46,720 due to a reduction in special education transportation services based on a preliminary review of the transportation contract. Overall, we were able to decrease the deficit by $947,734. The current budget surplus sits at $129,861 at a 3% tax increase. If we raise taxes 3.2%, we would have a surplus of $210,000. As the tax increase goes down, the surplus goes away and the deficit increases. A 0% tax increase would have us sitting at a $1 million deficit. At the meeting, the committee discussed, beginning the conversation with constituents, the people in the community, about what type of tax increase or lack thereof the board would feel comfortable supporting. It is important that the administration knows where the board wants to land so that they can make the necessary adjustments to the department budgets. It's imperative that we keep providing the necessary academic, social, and emotional supports for our students, the top-notch professional development for our staff, but we also have to be cognizant of the community members who are paying taxes to fund our schools, and we have to be focused on the level of our fund balance, as was stated earlier. Just for the record, our fund balance currently sits, based on the last audit, at $4.4 million. $3.4 million, which is unassigned, and about $1 million, which is committed. That's committed for the data center, committed for bus leases, the debt service, and the phone lease. Two of which in a year will be going away because those leases are up. But that is absolutely 100% something that the board is focused on, trying to increase that fund balance. Mr. High School, Mrs. Riley, and the board will continue to work this month to reduce expenditures as much as possible while maintaining the necessary supports for our students and staff. The second item on the agenda was budget presentations for the Curriculum and Instruction Department and the Special Education Department. The Curriculum and Instruction Department budget is $241,626. This is an increase from the last fiscal year because we no longer have the federal Keystone Opportunity Grant. And some of the items that were funded through that grant are being absorbed through the curriculum and instruction budget. Some include elementary and secondary math testing, math seeds, and hands-on manipulatives. There's also an increase to the professional development portion of the curriculum budget as well. The special education budget is $4,229,804. There's a lot of uncertainty with this budget because families can move into the district, they can move out of the district, and we are responsible for educating or finding the appropriate placement for them. Students are also identified with different needs at different times, and we are responsible to provide the necessary supports and services. Within this budget, we appropriate funds for private schools, cyber charter schools, extended school years, staffing agencies for our students, gift services, testing materials, and DCIU supports for our students. Mrs. Riley, Mr. High School, Mr. Krantz, and Ms. Lambert work diligently to rein in the costs that can be incurred within this department's budget, but it is the district's primary goal to do what is in the best interest of the students while maintaining fiscal responsibility. I commend the administration for thinking outside the box and presenting ideas to the board for ways to keep our students in district through innovative ideas like the cyber school program, the apartment at the high school. It not only saves us money in the long run, but it also, our students are being educated by our teachers. And that is what the end goal should be. Finally, next month, more departments will present their budgets, and I will have an update for those. But we also looked at the third item was the preliminary financial statements. All board directors had the opportunity to read the monthly department spending, year-to-date revenues, and year-to-date expenditures, and ask questions. Committee adjourned, and our next finance meeting will be held Tuesday, May 8th at 7 p.m. in the boardroom of the administration building. That is it, Mr. Phillips. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chabot. Moving on to 9.2, GBO meeting, Mr. Evans.
The GBO committee meeting commenced at 8 p.m. on April 9th. Director of Technology Barbara Haggerty provided an update on the eGold fax program, which will eventually eliminate the use of older fax technology and ultimately reduce costs associated with maintaining older facsimile equipment. It was decided to move forward and to add it to the agenda for tonight's meeting. Mr. Galloway mentioned that he's working towards having a storage container placed at the South Avenue Athletic Complex to alleviate some of the storage concerns at that location, and that the staff would be cleaning out some of the equipment and materials that were no longer needed. Dr. Ekman and Mr. Avidable provided a presentation from Corbett Inc. on collaborative learning spaces. Each elementary school buildings is going to have classrooms reconfigured as collaborative spaces, providing an alternative learning environment that is more geared toward the team concept and creative processes. This program is funded by the Boeing grant. Our meeting was adjourned at 8:35 p.m.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Moving on to 9.3, legislative update, Mr. McGarvey.
Yes, Mr. Phelps. The Legislative Council met last week, April 11th. Some of the discussion items were House bills and Senate bills. So what I'm going to do tonight is give you a summary of these bills because they're quite lengthy. And if you need any more information, please contact the superintendent, and between Superintendent Riley and myself, we'll give you more information, and we're looking at posting it on the website as well, because these things go on forever. So I'm just going to summarize 4 of them that we discussed at last week's meeting. The first one is House Bill 1213, restrictions on property assessment appeals. Okay, this is being opposed by the PSBA. Greatly restricts the rights of school districts and municipalities to conduct appeals of under-assessed property. This legislation would greatly restrict the rights of school districts and municipalities to conduct appeals of under-assessed property. By limiting the right to initiate appeals, particularly with large commercial properties, school districts in your district could experience losses in revenue that will be very significant. This restriction in the ability to generate future local revenues will harm schools that are already grappling with overall declining state aid and unfairly shift the property tax burden to homeowners. So that's a summary on House Bill 1213. The next one is Senate Bill 1095, changes to high school graduation requirements. The House Bill 1213 amends public school code by establishing alternative pathways for high school graduation and making other changes. This goes into more detail about a student who is not proficient on the Keystone exams in Algebra 1, biology, or literature shall consult with the school's designated administrator of the portfolios to determine the student's options for graduating from high school. The student and administrator will consider all pathways to graduation, including the option of participating in supplemental instruction. Supplemental instruction related to their career portfolios required that they are related to career and technical education, which is CTA acronym. The next one is Senate Bill 2, Education Savings Account, also known as ESA vouchers. The legislation would allow students attending schools that rank in the bottom 15% to participate in education savings accounts. Families approved to participate in the program agreed to withdraw their students from public school and receive the average state funding per pupil minus state transportation funding, deducted from the local school district's state education subsidies. Special education students will receive this amount multiplied by the appropriate category weight as specified in the special education funding formula. And the last one is State Bill 290, or State Resolution 293, School Safety Review. The summary on this resolution will direct the State Government Commission to conduct a comprehensive review of school safety in Pennsylvania. And it's the Joint State Government Commission that would be responsible for this, for working with the Pennsylvania State Police and others to conduct a thorough and comprehensive analysis, examining school safety measures being used by school districts across the Commonwealth, quantifying the number of schools that have received a risk and vulnerability assessment by the Pennsylvania State Police, enumerating all applicable funding sources available to schools for school safety, and quantifying the number of school districts in compliance with the statutory requirements under 35 PA CS code. Okay, and that's those four. And the last item we discussed was the annual legislative breakfast, which is scheduled for Friday, May 18th at the DCIU. All school board directors and superintendents are urged to show up at that. And we're working right now on the actual plan for that, how they're going to, they usually invite the legislators, but they're looking at another forum set up to see which works best for everybody. Because you get legislators there and it turns into a scene, so people are happy and they get beat up, so. All right, that concludes my legislative report there.
Would you like to roll into 9.4, keep on going, Mr. McGuire?
Let me get a drink of water. No. All right, the Delaware County Community College School Board Liaison Committee meeting that was held April 4th. The first item we talked about was the Westchester University Partnership. Delaware County Community College has recently collaborated with Westchester University in providing a Bachelor of Science degree to students enrolled in the Business Management program at the college. Students must complete the Associate Degree program at Delaware County Community College to be eligible to enroll in the Westchester University. And some of the advantages they mentioned were increased retention of the Delaware County Community College students, increased enrollment of prior DCC students who want to return for the bachelor's degree that they get from Westchester. Increased potential of new students, early selection of Westchester University courses that fill quickly, and plus you can do on-site admissions, registration, and academic advising at Delaware County Community College without having to go to Westchester. Partnership is hoping to begin this fall. However, the student cost will be whatever the Westchester University tuition is for that program. The next item is the Think 30 campaign. Delaware County Community College staff working with students to make every credit count. This campaign is to assist students in making the correct choices in classes to complete the degree requirements in 2 years, which is 30 credits per year. And the next liaison meeting, we won't be meeting until October 24th, which is the night of the School Board Appreciation Dinner. We'll be meeting after that dinner. School board members and superintendents are also invited to that as well. And that concludes that report. Mr. Phelps.
Thank you, Mr. McGarvey.
You're welcome.
Moving on to 9.5, Mr. Harris.
Let me bring this one home. The Delaware County Intermediate Unit Board of Directors met on April 4th, 2018. Approved the DCIU to contract the following: Springfield School District, Radnor Township School District, Haverford School District, Rose Tree School District, Wonderworks, and Dr. Ross Green. Approved to provide after-school tutoring for English learners, English language learners at the DCIU. Also approved a new program. We're having a new program at the Delaware County Community School, or I'm sorry, the Technical School, a biomedical and lab sciences program. So we're going to be approving that and also approving to hire a teacher for that for the 18-19 school district, 18-19 school year. For more news and happenings, go to dciu.org. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. And moving on to number 10, Mr. Evans.
Motion that the following personnel actions be approved, starting with 10.1 to 10.5 on page 2 to page 4.
Second.
Motions have been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments from the board? I have one comment. I will be abstaining from 10.1 and 10.1 only. Motions have been moved and seconded. Are there, everyone in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0 with one abstention. Moving on to number 11, Mr. Evans.
Motion with regret that the following retirements be approved. I'm going to read each one. 11.1, William Eschenbach, 6th grade teacher with 42 years of service to the district, be approved for retirement effective June 14, 2018 under the terms and conditions set forth in the current agreement with the Interboro Education Association. 11.2, Carol Atmagin, family and consumer science teacher with 33 years of service to the district, be approved for retirement effective June 14, 2018 under terms and conditions. 11.3, William Gardner, special education teacher with 32 years of service to the district, be approved for retirement effective June 14, 2018 under terms and conditions. And 11.4, Jean Rothstein, speech therapist with 19 years of service to the district, be approved for retirement effective June 14, 2018 under terms and conditions set forth in the current agreement with the Interboro Education Association.
Second.
Motions have been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
Comment.
Mr. Chavon?
I just want to wish all of these great educators a happy and healthy retirement.
Thank you, Mr. Chavon. Any other comments? Ms. Franz brought to our attention at our workshop the total years, 126 years between all these people. It says something about Interboro. We've got a lot of great people working here and dedicated. I think they do this out of love, not just, pain. So, that being said, Our debt goes out to them. And this board.
It's 43, 33. 47.
All right, any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0, regretful. Moving on to number 12, Mr. Evans.
From the Office of Curriculum and Instruction, motion that the following items be approved, starting with 12.1, going to 12.5 on page 5.
Second.
Motions have been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
I just want to make a quick comment, Mr. Phelps.
Yes, Mr. Shea.
12.2, the professional development, I just want to make a comment that in education, as all research points out, the most bang for your buck in spending money is on professional development. No textbook and teacher salaries, program, they do not increase student growth or achievement nearly as much as having solid professional development. And the curriculum office just does a really good job at finding unique and different types of professional development. I'm excited to see this professional development for the next year. I'm really excited to see how it happens, and as Ms. Lambert said, the follow through. It's not just a one and done. It's throughout the year to keep following through and making sure that the professional development is being implemented. So I'm really excited for that.
Thank you, Mr. Sharon. Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried 7-0. Next motion, Mr. Evans, 13.
From the Office of Special Education and Pupil Services, motion that the following items be approved, 13.1 to 13.6, ending on page 6.
Second.
Motions have been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next motion, Mr. Evans.
From the Office of Technology, motion that the following items be approved, 14.1 and 14.2.
Second.
Motions have been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
Comment, Mr. Phelps.
Yes.
I asked this question on Monday about 14.1, whether 14.1 was going to save us money, and Mr. Harris had mentioned that it is a lower rate, and then Ms. Haggerty got back to us and in dollar figures, we are getting the same quality, but for a cheaper price. Last year, it was $5,700. This year, we're getting it for $5,100. So I just wanted to give a dollar figure to what Mr. Harris had mentioned on Monday night. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried 7-0. Next motion, Mr. Evans.
From the Office of Facilities, motion 15.1 that the Board of School Directors approve the DCIU joint purchasing bid for trash removal with Republic Services LLC. This bid is for a 3-year agreement in the amount of $50,447.88 for the 2018-19 school year, $51,487.43 for the 2019-2020 school year, and $52,517.17 for the 2021 school year to be paid out of district funds.
Second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments from the board? I just have one. We did question these amounts that we will be paying. This is a savings from what we are originally have right now. So it did come down some. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next motion, Mr. Evans.
From the Office of Finance, motion 16.1 that the Board of School Directors approve the audited financial statements prepared by Majors and Mastro LLC for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2017.
Second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
Just a quick comment, Mr. Phelps.
Yes, Mr.
There was an audit committee meeting last month, and if you are interested in how that audit meeting went, it is on the website that you can listen to the audio. Thank you.
I just have one comment, just so everybody knows, that Majors and Mastro gave us the highest rating that you can get on this audit. So
We're doing something right. Everyone in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next motion, Mr. Evans.
Motion 17 is a roll call motion. Motion that the Board of School Directors approve the general operating budget of the Delaware County Community College for the fiscal year July 1, 2018 through June 30th, 2019 in the form and amounts presented at this meeting totaling $92,054,093. Interboro District School share, Interboro School District share is $450,298.
Second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Ms. Caldwell, this is a roll call, please.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. Verkio?
Yes.
Ms. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. McGarvey?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Chavon?
Yes.
Mr. Phelps?
Yes. Motion carries 7-0. Next motion, Mr. Evans.
Motion 18 is also a roll call motion, that the Board of School Directors approve the Capital One Commercial Card Program Agreement at no cost to the district, pending solicitor review.
Second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
Just a quick comment.
Yes.
Some of you in the last month's meeting may see this and think, why is it on the agenda again? Our solicitor did review it, and just based on school code language, that it needs to be a roll call vote, so that is why it's on the agenda again from last month.
Thank you, Mr. Chavon.
Yep.
That being said, any other comments? Ms. Caldwell, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. Verkio?
Yes.
Ms. Joseph? Yes. Mr. McGarvey?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Chavon?
Yes.
Mr. Phelps?
Yes. Motion carries 7-0. Next motion, Mr. Evans.
Motion 19 is also a roll call motion, that the Board of School Directors approve the revisions to the 2017-2018 school year calendar.
Second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, Ms. Caldwell, could we have a roll call?
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. Verkio?
Yes.
Ms. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. McGarvey?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Chavon?
Yes.
Mr. Phelps?
Yes. Motion carries 7-0. Next motion, Mr. Evans.
Motion 20, that the Board of School Directors approve the 4-day summer work week beginning the week of June 25th, 2018, and continuing through the week ending August 17th, 2018.
Second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Is there any old business? Hearing none, is there any new business? Ms. Riley?
Thank you, Mr. Phelps. I would like to congratulate our high school students for raising over $23,000 at the mini-thon that took place earlier this month. As many of you know, the money raised supports the fight against pediatric cancer. We were fortunate this year to have a group of our high school students who participated in the mini-thon visit the Hershey Children's Hospital. The students learned how the money raised helps patients and their families, as well as how it is used for research. The students were also able to meet with the dietitian, psychologist, child life specialist, and music therapist, and a researcher to hear about what their roles are in supporting children who are suffering, from this debilitating disease. So without the support of the community and raising that kind of money, we would not have been able to have that opportunity. So I would like to thank everyone for their support. This is a friendly reminder to all parents that kindergarten registration is underway for the 18-19 school year. All information is available on the website, including the hours of registration. We have started evening registrations, which are taking place on Wednesdays from 4 to 7 here at the administration building. I would also like to congratulate the theater company, our theater group, for their outstanding performance of Cinderella. I hope a lot of our families were able to attend, but they just did an amazing job, from the production side to the pit crew, the kids playing the instruments, everything. It was just amazing. The costumes, and I can't recognize the students enough. Over 100 of our kids came out and participated in the production. That's an incredible number. I would also like to recognize the theater boosters who work so many hours behind the scenes and put so much effort into really making this a positive experience and supporting the whole process. They've done an amazing job, and I just can't say enough about their work, so I would like to thank the boosters for their time. I would like to thank the board for approving the revised calendar this evening. Due to the many weather-related school closings we had this year, we did need to make some adjustments. Some of those adjustments are the April 25th and May 30th early dismissal days are now full days of school for all students. The high school will now have a Keystone testing day on May 15th, and both AM and PM pre-K will have school. The community schools and the kindergarten academy will be off, and that will be a professional development day for teachers. The revised calendar will be available on the website tomorrow for all parents, and we will send a reminder home. Also, we did approve 4 retirements this evening. That 126 years of service is just an incredible number. I mean, Bill Esch, not to single him out, but 42 years in Interboro School District. I mean, that is an amazing career, and I have to tell you, he sent an email that was just so heartfelt, and, you know, he has just loved his experience here at Interboro, and I know that comes from the work of the board and the families and the staff that he has worked with over the years, but he is going to have a tough time leaving, as I know are the other retirees. So we will miss them. There's a lot of wisdom in those years, and they really, they're amazing in the buildings, and they really do support a lot of what happens there. So I really do wish them the best, and I hope they know that our doors are always open and we always welcome them back. So I just do really congratulate them and wish them well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Ryan. Are there any comments from the board?
Comment?
Yes, Mr. Evans.
Just as secretary, in the interest of housekeeping and information, there are some new faces in the audience tonight. I wanted to make sure that everybody knows that if you wish to speak at the public meeting, that you have to sign in before 7. And I apologize for anybody who didn't know that coming in, especially if they had a comment, and they're certainly welcome to hang out afterwards and we can discuss whatever your concerns might have been. Under public comment, members of the community are respectfully reminded that with regard to public comments, neither the board nor the solicitor will engage in a dialogue with the person or persons addressing the board. The board will listen and take all comments, questions, and suggestions under advisement. Where specific answers are requested, community members are invited to telephone, email, or use the postal service to communicate their questions to the superintendent or board president, who will respond or have appropriate school district personnel respond. And in the interest of time and respect for everybody's time, we prefer to respond to those questions via mail, email, or a further conversation. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Any other comments? Myself, I had one. Floyd is right. I did tell a board member not to come to a meeting, but she took it out of the contents that it was directed. We have, someone was complaining there was family obligations, this or that, and I said, if you cannot come, don't come. Your family comes first. And that's just what it is. I don't want anybody sitting here trying to make me look bad. I want all our board members here all the time, doing their job, representing their boroughs and their constituents. And if you can't make it for some reason, it's okay. It's not, that big of a deal that we're sitting here arguing about it. So by all means, we definitely want all board members here at all times, giving their input, and their thoughts on different things. But under no circumstances should you be discarding your family obligations for any reason. That being said, the only other thing I had to say was piggybacking on Mr. Evans. There's not a question that we do not want to answer. The reason I don't like answering questions here in the public is because if I don't cross my T's and dot my I's, they will hold my feet to the fire. So if anybody has any questions, I don't care what it is. You see Miss Riley, or myself, and we will get you an answer. That being said, is there any other comments? Meeting adjourned. I got, on Tuesday, May 8th, 2018, Finance Committee meeting with the GBO meeting. Meeting of the following will be held at 7 p.m. in the boardroom of the Administration Building. The next work session of the Interboro Board of School Directors will be convened in the boardroom of the Administration Building on Monday, May 14th, 2018 at 7 p.m. The next regularly monthly public meeting of the Interboro Board of School Directors will be convened in the auditorium of the high school on Wednesday, May 16th, 2018 at 7 p.m. Thank you all for coming. We appreciate your time.